Hi, it's Neil here from neilcurtis.me, and this is the next video in the series that we're using to recreate or show you how to recreate the turbobiketrainer.com website. So this is where we got to last time. I showed you how to add this price comparison to the individual product pages that we've used to set up using custom post types. And we've got all these links through to the merchants, and if they're clicked, you go to the merchant's website where you can buy the product you're looking at, and this is a tracked affiliate link, so a commission will be paid if someone buys from that click. So this is what we set up last time, and we're ready to move on to the next stage. So I recommend you look at the other videos in the series if you want to see how to get to this current stage. But we'll go to the home page of the live site, and we'll see on this left hand side we've got this big list of products. And these are all individual TurboTrainer products that has been set up. And we've also got this filter, this user filter at the top. So someone can come to the site and filter, for example, by product type. And this is only showing the kinetic turbo trainers. You can do it by resistance type or price range. So I'll just stick in a price range here, filter the results. And there's actually none of those particular products being in that range. So I'll modify it slightly. That's the products between that price range. And this is what we're going to set up now. So if we have a look at the actual current walkthrough, the current case study progress, you see it looks a lot different, and we need to add that big list of products down the left hand side of this page. The first thing I need to do, or we need to do if you're following along, is we need to add some more products, because if you remember, if you followed the other guides, there's only 2 in there at the moment that we set up. So let's have a quick look at them. So these are the 2 products we've already added to our website, but we'll add a few more because otherwise we'll have nothing to show up in the search results, nothing to filter. So it's quite easy. So we've set up this TurboTrainer custom post types previously. Just add new, and I'll just go over to the live website and we'll just copy a couple of products or a few products across, just so we've got a few in our case study to work with. I'll choose this Tax Genius. I'll just copy and paste the different fields into our new product on our case study website. I'll just speed this up because I'm just doing the same process. I'm just copying the different custom fields across from the live site onto our new case study website. I'll do the same for a few of the products. So we've got a few on our case study site. And actually, I'm just going to slow things down now because there's something we need to add to our custom fields. So we've got this filter on a live site, and you notice there's option all as well as the individual products. If we go to the edit page of the products on the live website, you see we've got the custom field brand, which has got the different TurboTrainer brand names, and this populates this brand field on the product page. But we've also got this brands 2 custom field, which has got all and Cyclops ticked here. And this is actually what is used in that filter on the home page. So there's actually these 2 custom fields for brand, and it's the same for braking mechanism. We've got the normal braking mechanism and the braking mechanism 1, which does the filter. So we'll go into the back end of WordPress for a live site, and we'll click on types, which is a plugin, and custom fields. And we'll have a look how the custom fields are set up on our live website. So you'll see we have brand and also brands 2, and we also have braking mechanism and a braking mechanism 1. So we've got 4 fields here for these 2 parameters. So if we have a look at our case study website that we've been building up over the last series of videos, we have a look at our custom fields in our case study website. You will see we have brand there, but we don't have a brands 2. We've also got braking mechanism, but we don't have the second braking mechanism option. So this is what we're going to have to set up now. So it's actually a checkbox, and it's got this all at the top and then the rest of the brands. So in our case study website, we'll click checkboxes on the right there. It's going to add this new field, and it's called brands 2. Okay, and then click on the slogan, it fills that in. And the first option is all. So let's type all in here. Then we'll add another option. Check over on the live site, and the second option is tax. So we'll put tax in here. Add another one. And I'm just going to speed this up again just to save time. I'm just going to add options and put in all the different brand names as per the live website. And also, once I've done all the brands, I'm going to add another checkbox custom field for the breaker mechanism, or the second breaker mechanism option. And then I'm just going to fill in all these different breaker mechanisms again with the extra all field, so we can check that for our filter on our homepage. Alright, so that's it. We've set up those 2 extra custom fields. So if we have a look at our turbo trainers now, they should show up in there. So we'll edit the ones we've already done. So I'll click on this top cycle ups that we just did before. Click edit on that. And there we go. We see we've got this brands 2 now. So I'll check the all and the cycle up. So that means we can filter them. And brands all. And this option should say electromagnetic, but it says electromotor, so I've obviously typed in the wrong words in my haste before. So let's update that. We'll just go and modify this custom field to change the word from motor to magnetic. Just check the live site to make sure it is that, and it is. So we'll just modify our case study that we've just done a second ago. And it shows how easy it is just to change things if you realize there's a problem. So I'll go into this breaker mechanism 1, and there it is. It says electromotor. We'll just change that to magnetic. Save it. That's all I need to change. And if we refresh this page, it should show our changed field. Good, there it is. So we'll check that box and then update this product, and then that's all set up, ready for the filter. I just need to go ahead and do the same to the other products we've already got on here. Then I'm going to set up a couple more new products in a bit. So we've got 6 to choose from when we're doing our search filters. Again, I'm just going to check those boxes, and I'm going to speed this video up again to save time, while I just do exactly the same with these other products we've already set up on our case study website. And I'll go ahead and add a couple of new turbo trainers in there as well. This is the final one, this Rock and Roll Turbo Trainer 2. And there we have it. That's the final product page there for this turbo trainer. And we're ready to go ahead and start styling this filter and list of products on the homepage. All right, we'll head over back to the live website just to check it out. So this is what we're going to be doing now, putting this filter in. Now let's go to the back end, and we do this using the views plugin that we've used in the past, and we use these content templates to style custom posts. This time we're using views, or what's called views, of this plugin. And you can get this plugin or see this plugin in my resources page on the website. So basically I've got loads here that I've set up in a live site, and we'll work through how I did these at a later date. But the one we want to look at now, I'll just check. So go back to the home page, go into the back end of this home page, and it's this short code here that displays this set of results and filter, and it's this one here, Turbo Trainer search results. So this is a page you get to when you set up a new view, and we tick the box saying we want to use turbo trainers, which is a custom field. We ordered these list of products by recommended retail price, and here are the filters, and this is the styling of the filters in this window here that is showing on the home page. It's got a lot of shortcodes in there, and if you go back to the home page of the live site, that section just showed you styles and puts in this part of the view, and it's styled using the custom CSS window beneath. And then this part of the views plugin is where we do those product pages, those product results, and this is how it's styled. So this is a part that does this part of the filter results. And it's got a title that's clickable, and also the image shows a product name, and that is clickable, and if you click it you go through to the product page. So like I said, that's all styled and set up here in this window. Right, so we'll go ahead and we'll start building this up ourselves on our case study website. Just go to the back end, views, and then click on view. And then we've got nothing there, of course, because we've never done this before on this case study. So click create a new view, and you get this pop-up window. And what we want to do is we want to click on the display results, the parametric search. So just select that option. Then you've got to give it a name, and you can call this whatever you want. And here I'll just call it Turbo Trainer Search Area. Right, and then once you do that, it opens up this window here. And we've got these little help boxes, but I'm going to close them because you don't need that, because I'll walk through it. First thing we've got to say, content selection, and we tick Turbo Trainer because that's what we want, the Turbo Trainer custom post. Then order by, it's basically the order of this list that's shown on the home page. We want that to be ordered by RRP, so we just get the drop down and choose the custom field RRP. It's here at the bottom. And then we want them to be descending, which it is by default, so I'm just going to update that. Actually, I'm going to click update all at the top here just to save everything we've done. So you can update each of the individual sections you change, or you can just update everything on this page. Alright, so we're going to hit this filter section. So what we have to do is, these are these filter areas at the top. So this is what we're going to set up now. So we just go into the back end here of the view, then we need to click add a filter. Then we just choose what we want. So we'll start off with brands. Remember, it's brands 2 that we just set up before, and the custom fields that we're going to use in this filter. And we'll add it. And then we've got these options to choose from. Got to give it a name. And I'll just have a look what I called it on the live website. And I called it brands 2 here. And actually you can call it what you want, but I'm just going to use the same name. And then it has to be URL parameter. So just put the name in there, brands 2. And here where it's constant, you've got all these options, and we actually need to change that to URL parameter. And that's that filter set up, so I'll save it. All right, we'll add the other ones in there. We'll go with the breaker mechanism now. Again, that needs to be URL parameter. And then I'll use the same name as I used last time. But again, it doesn't matter. But it just makes it easy for me just to use that. And we'll add our final one, which is our prices. So we'll go down to our RRP. And this time we're going to select, it's going to have to be a number because it's a numeric value. And instead of saying equals to, we want it to be between, because you want to be able to filter between 2 different price ranges. And again, these need to be URL parameters here. And these fields can be whatever they want again, but I'm just going to give them names of RRP_main and RRP_max. And we'll save that, and that's our first stage of the filter setup done. So now in this window directly below it, where it's called filter HTML/CSS/JS, this is where we do the styling of these filters, basically how they look and are displayed on the website. And all of these filter shortcodes need to go in here between these filter control brackets, and then choose what we want. So we put brands 2 in again, and we want that to be a select option, and we'll have a look at the advanced fields here, but they're already filled in for us because we did that above just before. Just click insert, and it's put in the shortcode there for this filter. So I've just updated that, and we'll go to the home page, and nothing's showing because we haven't put the filter shortcode in there. Plus, this is a default home page, and this is just showing blog posts by default. So we want to actually create a fresh page. I'm just going to call it home page, and I'm going to make this home page the front page of the website, because by default, quite often themes for WordPress have the default option to show you blog posts on the home page, but we don't want that. We want a static home page where we want to show this big filter. So you do this, you go into settings and the dashboard, and you go on reading, and here you see we've got a static page. So we just checkbox that and go front page here, and we choose home page, and that's the page I've just created quickly there. So I'll save those changes, and now that home page is going to be the front page of my website. So if I go back to the front page, you see there it is. It's got the title home page, and it's no longer a list of blogs, recent blog posts. It's actually a static home page. So right, we need to stick in some shortcode there to show that view we've just been setting up. So we just click on the V icon, and under view there, you'll see we've got the one we just created. So we just click that and insert that shortcode into our page. Now I always like to make sure I'm on a text editor of the dashboard when I do my changes. So I'll just click that tab, then click update, and that'll stick that view into this static home page now. So if you have a look, there it is. So there's our one filter for brands, and you see we've got all the different turbo trainers in there, and it's also got the title here, but I'm going to remove that. This first line here is showing that title name, but I'm going to get rid of that because we're going to put in our own names in a minute and style them our own individual ways. Just need to crack on with the rest of them now. So click filters again, and we'll put in our next one. It's going to be a breaker mechanism, and then this one's to be a select area again. We'll just put the shortcode in. I'm going to delete this top line again because that's a title, and that we're going to do that ourselves in a minute. And then finally, we'll stick in the RRP min and RRP max filters. Again, I want these to be select fields, and we'll just insert a shortcode. I'm actually going to go back and tweak these in a minute, but we'll put these in for now and come back later. Again, I'm just deleting the titles and tidying up the format in a bit. So if we refresh this now, all of those fields should be in there with no titles, and they are. So we've got the brand, we've got the break type, and we've got the prices. But you'll see how those prices is actually the real prices that we inserted before when we set these up. But if we have a look on the live website, instead of just saying these random real prices, it actually goes in a nice order from any down to 900 or 1,000 plus. So that's what we need to set up now. And if we have a look at the live website styling, you'll see we've got an area in here that's got all of these display values and real values, and we haven't got them in ours. So this is what we need to add. So I'm just going to delete these two RRP fields that were just stuck in there, and I'm going to redo them. So it's exactly the same way. I'm just clicking on filters. This pop-up box comes up. I'm going to click RRP, and I want these to be select field still. And when it says ascending there, I'm just going to change that to descending because we want it to be descending values. And I'm just going to click this advanced field because this is where we actually set things up. I want to use manual values here, so just check that box, and now we can put in some values. So I want the first one to be 0, and I want the display value to be 0. The next value we want is 100. Again, we want the display value to be 100. And we'll just put a couple more in, or just one more in. And there we go. You see, now when we insert that, we've actually got these numbers in our shortcode. If we refresh the page now, you'll see it's showing 0, 1, and 200. Those values are just stuck in there for both the max and the min. So have a look at the live website. We've obviously got a lot more numbers in there. So we'll just go in, and instead of inputting a shortcode again, we can actually go in there and add some values ourselves. So instead of saying 0 at the start, I want it to say any. This is just what's displayed when you put the drop down list. I'm just going to add a whole load more values in here, going up in £100 increments. So I've gone up to 900. I'm just going to copy that, and then the actual real values that refer to those display values are the same. So I'm just going to put them in, and I'm going to update it. So now we should have a load more options. You see it says any now instead of 0, and it goes all the way up to 900, which is great. I'm just going to copy what we've just done there and paste it into the RRP max fields. Just checking the live site to see what values we have there. So that goes all the way down to 1,000 plus. I'm just checking these values. So this first number here is a really high number, because for the maximum value, when the user chooses any, say, oh, he wants any maximum value, we want this to be a really high number to make sure it includes all the products in our range. So I'm just going to put a really high value in here. And also at the end, when we've got the option of show all products at £1,000 plus, again, we want all products in our system to show. So again, we put another really high value here. So I'm just going to put 100,000, and again there, let's modify that to 1,000 plus, and leave that as any. First of all, I'm just going to delete these titles, because like I said before, we're going to do our own titles in a minute. Just updated that, and if we refresh our page, let me have a look. That goes from any to 900, and then the max goes from any to 1,000 plus. So it's coming along, but of course the formatting is nowhere near right. I'm just going to put some titles in now. So brands, and then resistance, price, min. Put the units of pounds, because I'm targeting a UK audience. Of course, if you do this yourself for your own website and your own products, you can put whatever currency you want in there. And just refresh that, and there you go, those headings are in there. But we need to shrink the size of those filter field boxes. So we're going to have to start doing some CSS styling. So I'm going to target the different parts of these filters. So I'm going to create a div around the brands. So we've done this before in past tutorials, but it's just div ID equals and then a name and a closing div tag here. And I'll copy that name, that ID name we just created. So in the CSS styling, just go hash, name of that filter, and then open and close curly brackets. I'm just going to put width 150 pixels. So I'm just going to say, make this div 150 pixels wide. So now after I update that, it should shrink this top one down to that size, which it has. So now we just need to do the same for all of the other ones. So just repeat the exact same process. I'm just going to copy this div. And really, each of these divs is going to be the same, but just in case we want to target and modify each one of these filter areas individually, I'm going to give them all their own unique div name. So just cut and paste that, but then change the beginning of it. So each one of these different filter boxes has got its own unique div in case we want to modify it later. Alright, so now we've created all these divs around all of the different filters. We need to copy the styling. So I'm just going to copy this CSS styling that we've just done, paste it another 3 times, and then cut and paste in the correct div name for each one. And if you've got any questions about this part or any part of this guide, just leave a comment below the video on YouTube. If you're watching it on YouTube, if you're watching it on the website neilcurtis.me, go ahead and leave a comment there. So I've done that, refresh the page. You see now all of our filter boxes are the right width, but they're stacked beneath each other, but we want them to float left. Okay, so we just write float left into our CSS styling for each one of these boxes. Paste that into all of these divs that we just created, and what this will do, it'll mean they're arranged next to each other rather than stacked below each other. So we'll update and then refresh, and there you go, they're all next to each other, but they're all tight against each other, and on the live site they're spread out a bit. Do this now. We're just going to put a margin left of 2%, and that'll budge each of these divs along by 2% of the screen size. Check out what this small bit of code does, and there you go, it bumps them all across a bit. Pretty similar to the live site. But we need this big filter results button there, which we haven't got, so we'll plonk that in now. So in this top box, we want it to be at the bottom, so we put our cursor at the bottom, and we just click this put a submit button option, and then we call it something, and this is the name that shows in the box. We're going to call it filter results, and this button class name, we're going to put a name in here because this is what we use to actually target this particular button, and we can style it. So I've called it submit button here, this class name. So I've just copied that name. We've inserted that button in there. So I won't do any styling now, but we'll have a look what the default button looks like. And there it is, let's put it down there. It looks okay, but it's obviously not styled right compared to the live site. And if you see, it's pink as well, rather than green, but we'll deal with that in a minute. So we're going to put dot this time in our CSS styling, which means it targets a class. The hash is for a div and the dot is for a class. Put dot name, and I just want to put font size 20 pixels. So if we refresh this, there we go. It's growing in size. And I'm going to put margin top. I'll say 10 pixels for now. We'll see what it looks like. Just to bump this down a bit, pull it away from that filter box above, which it has done. It's not quite enough, so I'm just going to make that 15 instead of 10. And then we also want to bump it across to the right, so we'll put margin left 2%, which is the same as the other divs. So it should now make it the left edge in line with the filter box above it, because we've got the same margin left, which it is. So that button's looking okay now. So we have to create that list of products, and this is done in the window beneath this layout HTML, and you put what you want to put between these loop brackets, shortcodes, and then we click layout wizard, and then we choose unformatted here because we want to style it ourselves. And then you just add a field. So first thing we want to do is add the title, and it wants the link, so a title with a link. Then we want RRP. So we just go and find that custom field in this list. And then finally we want to add the image, and that's actually image number 1 that we upload when we create the products. So just find the custom field image 1 and click on next. Then it's saying replace existing layout, and we say yes because we just want to put it in there. And it's just put all of those shortcodes for those custom fields in a big line. So just to make it easier to see them, I'm going to stack the 3 custom fields beneath each other, like that. And if we just update that, and we go and have a look on the website, and it should show all of these products and custom fields that we've just said there, which it is, which is great, but obviously they're not formatted, the images are huge and the font's too small. So we need to go in now to that editor window and start styling this page. First thing I want to do though is I'm going to delete this image field, and I'm going to click on the V icon fields and then reinsert this image number 1. The reason is because I didn't put in any image title or alternate text tags in there. So I'm just going to put in the image title some holder text, where's holder title, and the word holder alt and alternate text. And we'll modify this to the proper thing later. And also I'm going to do custom size of 400, and I'll put pixels on there. Although remember, this tends not to work, and we'll have to style this with a div, but I'm going to put this in now anyway and insert that new shortcode. Now I'm going to refresh this page, and no, those custom sizes hasn't done anything to the images, but that's fine. We've had that before, so we'll just style up the div later. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a div, and this is going to be around all of these fields, and I'll give it an ID name of filter holder, but it can be whatever you want. And I'll put the closing div in here. Copy that, and then we'll click on the CSS window to open up the CSS, and then I'll put hash, the div name, open and close curly brackets like we've done before, ready for some styling. And I'm also going to put a div around each of the individual fields that we put in there. So just copied and pasted that original div, and now I'm editing the name so each one's got its own unique div name. Then I'll go down to the CSS and I'll copy and paste that 3 times just to save time, and then modify the name with the correct name. Right, okay, so now we're set up, ready to start adding some styling. I'm just going to update that so we don't lose anything. The first thing I want to do is I want to make the image width 400, and this will shrink these images down, which it has, and that looks a lot neater already. So all images are the same uniform size of 400 pixels wide. For the title, I want it to be bigger, so 24 pixels, so font size 24 pixels in that title. And there we go, that's made that bigger. Then with the RRP, I want that font size to be 20 pixels. So make that a bit smaller than it is at the moment. And there we go. And I've just realized I made a rookie mistake. I forgot to put the closing div tags on these individual divs that I set up before. And I realized it's because when I made the title size bigger, it also made the RRP field bigger as well, which it shouldn't have done really, and that's because I forgot to put the closing tags. You want to put the words RRP and then the currency before the RRP shortcodes. We put it in there in the HTML editor. And if you update that and have a look at the site, you see we now have the words RRP and then the pound sign. And obviously for you, whatever you're doing, you can have your own currency in there. So here's a nice little tip. So in the main filter holder, I'm going to put width 60% because it isn't the full width of the screen, it's only short. But if you put a smaller than 100% width, then you put margin 0 auto, it centrally aligns this div within the middle of the screen. So I've just put that in there. Now if I refresh this, you'll see it bumps it across. Then I'm going to put a padding of 5%, which will just shift it down and spread out each of the individual products from each other. So now they're a bit tight, so if we refresh this, you see the spread out a bit more. Have a look at the live site. There's a thin grey line beneath each of these products. I'm going to put that in now. I want to put a border bottom. For now, border bottom 1 pixel solid #CCC, which is a grey colour, just to get a line there. But that line's too dark, I think it is, yep. So I'm just going to edit the live site and see what colour I used for that line, and it's this colour here. I'm just going to copy and paste that in. Then refresh that and see if the line goes lighter, which it has. It's great. I want to put something in here. It's min width. Because we've set the site to 60%, if the screen gets smaller, this div will always be 60%. But if you put the min width 270, then it will never get smaller than 270, so it'll still look good on mobile phones. And I've also just increased the width of the line to 2 pixels because it's looking a bit thin, and that's looking all right there. You see when I hover over that button there, submit button, it's pink, but of course it's green on the live site. So this is what we'll go and tackle now. With Genesis, the platform we're using to build our website on top of WordPress, we've got these theme options. If you click on the tab in the dashboard, and here we've got color style, and by default it's on default, but now we just need to change that to green, and now all of the links and the hover over buttons, etc., will be on this green color now. So let's refresh our page, and you see all the links are green, and if I hover over that button it turns green. But you may be able to see it's actually a slightly different color green to what I've got on the live TurboBack Trainer website. So here it's a bit of a darker green where it's more vibrant on the case study. So let's go to the back end of the live website and look in the CSS Editor where we do some styling, and I'll show you that we've actually set up a custom color theme for this TurboBackTrainer.com website. I'm just doing a search for the word green, and that's the original green, the green that we're using on our case study site at the moment, the one that's already in the back end of the Genesis theme settings. We just need to go down and find a custom one we've set up. So there we go. So now we've got one here called Metro Pro Turbo Bike Trainer or Turbo Trainer Green, and this is something I set up to specify a custom color. So if I go into our case study that we're editing now, we need to do the same. We need to set up a new custom color theme, and we want to set it to that darker green. So here's the original green that we're using now, the Metro Pro green. So what we have to do is, or what we can do is, we can just copy all of this styling. So I'm just going to copy that. And paste it above. So now we just need to edit this CSS styling. So I'm just going to put custom in front of it, and I'm just going to put custom -custom on all of these references to the word MetroPro green, because we're just creating a new default theme styling of green custom. So you don't have to know what all of these individual styling aspects do, but we know that these are there already, and these are what change in the color of our theme. So because we're creating a new custom one, we just need to modify each of these instances. Okay, so that's done. And now we just need to find the reference to a color, which is here, and this is actually the green color. And just to test it, I'm just going to copy that color and put it into Google and see what color it says it is. And there it is. It is actually the green color. So that's what we need to change in that styling to our new darker green. So if I go into our live website and see what the darker green color is, and it's this, I'm just going to copy that darker green and then replace the original color with this new darker green color. So we just need to find all references to the original lighter green color and replace it with our new darker green. And I've gone too far there, and there's only a couple of times I've used it, that lighter green color is referenced, so we'll just change it twice. Just to check I've done that, to have. So now what we need to do is we need to go into our theme functions, so just click theme functions, and these also have a reference to our default color scheme. So I'm just going to copy the green one again, paste it below and put -custom. And this is what shows up in the menu. When you select the menu from the Genesis tab, this is what shows up, so we need to put it in there. So now this is linking the new styling we've just done to an actual default theme color. So just save that. I'm just going to go back into the CSS styling and search for the word green. And at the very top, we've got another reference to this original MetroPro green. So again, I'm going to put in our new custom just for clarity and completeness and make sure we haven't missed something out. I'm just going to update that. So now we've created a whole new color theme. So if we go into Genesis again and go into theme settings, or you just click at it, now we've got our green custom option. So I select that. So we want to use that color theme on our website. Now when I refresh our home page, it should change to a darker green, which it has. So now that's the same green as on the live site, and you see it matches the logo a lot nicer, and it's the same as the live site there. And if I hover over it, it's a darker green on the buttons as well. So all that styling that we were modifying before just does all of these different things, so the links and the hover buttons and things like that. So we've styled all those correctly. Yep, so that's definitely the same color, so we're happy with that. So we can move on to the next stage of this tutorial, which is I want to get rid of this home page, because you see it says search for Turbo Trainer there on our live site, and our home page shows the page title. So we want to get rid of that. And again, you can simply do this with Genesis using a plugin, a special Genesis plugin. So we'll just search for a plugin, and it's called Title Toggle, or we can put Genesis Title Toggle. So we'll search for that plugin. It's a free plugin, and like I said before on other videos, there's loads of plugins that work specifically with Genesis themes, and they're really great plugins to make your life a lot easier. So let's install a plugin. Okay, and then we'll just activate it. Now it's fully installed. Right, so that's there. So now we just edit our home page, and there should be an option now to say turn titles off. So each page you create and each post you create will have this option, and there it is. Now we've got this new option, so we'll just check that saying don't show the title on this page. So I'll just update those changes to settings we've done. And actually, while we're on this edit page, we might as well put in the title we do want to show. So I'm putting the title tags in there, and I'm putting H2 tags in. And I'll just type in the word search for a turbo trainer, and we're closing H2 tags. Now we'll update that, and then we'll just view our page, which is our home page. And there we go. So that homepage title is gone now, and now we've got these words search for trainer, and we've got all the trainers beneath it. And then if we click on the title, it links through to the product pages. So the styling and functionality is just about sorted, but the image isn't clickable and it doesn't say the right name. It's just got a holder text in there, so we just need to do that in the back end. So click on views, and this is the view we've been setting up today in this video. So let's go in this and we'll close these information tags because they're not important, so you don't need their help. So we go down to the bottom boxes, which is the layout, HTML, struct, CSS options, and here it is. We've got alt tags in our images, and it's just got holder text in now. So I'll just delete that holder text and click on this V fields, and we'll say stick in the title shortcode. That means it'll show the title now for the alt tags, and also paste that into the title. So now it says the correct trainer name. And we need to make this image clickable, because at the moment nothing happens when you hover over it. So we just need to put in the href equals, and then we'll say URL for this product, and we'll just close that href link. So we just need to find the end of it and put the A, which is a closing. And if you need any more help on this, you just need to leave a comment or go to my website and ask a question. I'm going over this quite quick. So if we refresh this now though, now the image is clickable, and if you hover over it, it says the name of the trainer, and it's different for each product, so that means it's working right. And if we click it, it takes us through to the product page, which is fantastic. So now we really are getting close to the end of this tutorial for setting up a filter view on your website. I'm just going to close that down. One thing though, which you may have noticed, is the font is different, and that's because on the live website I've changed the default font to use. So we just go into the back end of a case study and click on editor. We've got a CSS editor, and this is basically what styles everything on your site. So in here somewhere it's got a reference to what font to use on your WordPress theme, and we go down here and it's here under body. You see it's using this font, but if we go into our live website and have a look what font we're using there, just appearances and then editor. Oops, if you just click appearances it shows you the theme, so we need to click editor. And we'll scroll down to find the body section. It's here. So see, we're using this font here. So I'll just copy that and paste it at the front there, which says use this one first if you can. But sometimes websites can't, or web browsers don't use particular fonts, so that's why you've got other options in there. But this one's a default font, and also the font sizes and font weights are slightly different on a live site, so I'm just going to modify those on our case study so they're the same. It's not really vital to this tutorial, but we're just trying to make the case study website look as much like the live site as possible. So they're not exactly the same. And perhaps the reason for that is those images look way bigger on our case study website than they do on a live site, so we've probably done something wrong there in the setting up of the size of those image divs because it is way bigger. So I'm just going to go into the back end again. I've opened up the dashboard in a new window. We'll have a look at the view and see if we've put a value in for the size of that image div, or the div in particular, which is too big. So I've looked at the CSS. So our image is 400, and I'll have a look on the live website to see what size I'm using in there. And I've got all these views in here that do like special offers on the website and stuff. I'll show you about them later, but this is a view for styling, that filter. I'm gonna have a look. Actually, I can't see a reference to a size for an image div, so maybe we don't need that, and it's just styled by the div that it's in. So I'm just going to comment out in our image div here. I'm just going to put this /* before, then * after, and that basically comments out that bit of code. So it says don't use it, and we'll see how this affects our homepage. And there, actually, it is styled more like the live site. Just compare them directly, and there we go. It's exactly the same. So yeah, I put in a size for the image and I didn't need to, and now it works fine. We'll just check if the filter works. So I'll put tax in, and some non-tax products are showing, so that isn't working. So we'll have to investigate why. So I'll just try something else. I'll put in a price range, 100 and 400, and that expensive one is showing. So these filters aren't working. So we'll just go and have a look why. And it shouldn't have anything to do with any of this code, because that's not affecting it. Oh, and I know why. When we set up these filters at the very start, there was an option which we didn't check. You see at the very bottom it's saying you've got all these filters and there's an or and and option. We had or, we need to change it to and. So basically saying we need this filter and this filter and this filter and this filter. They all need to match and show the results. So now it does work. You see we've only got one product there for tax, and if you select all, shows all the products. So before, this option was set to all, so it's saying if any of these options are true, to show the results. So the resistance was always on all, so it was just showing all the products. But now we have and it's working. It's filtering the products correctly by price and by brand. So this is great. So that was just a tiny little thing we forgot to change at the start. So this filter is working, so this is all set up. So this has been a very, very long tutorial, and I've probably gone over bits too quick, so please ask a question if there's anything you want to know about this particular tutorial. And as always, you should please head over to my website, which is www.neilcurtis.me, where I've got lots more tutorials and guides about setting up websites, styling websites, and I've even got guides about creating your own custom logos for free if you want to do that kind of stuff. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, please, if you haven't already, because that means when I have new videos, you'll hear about it. And if you're over on my website, it'll be great if you could sign up to my email list. And again, when I have any new tutorials, new guides, or any new content, I'll be able to tell you about it. Cheers.